This is going to be a solo episode. The reason why is because I promised to make one episode every week. And last week I recorded an episode, but honestly to you, it wasn't good enough for me to post. It was a good one. It was variable. It was valuable. This is a live one, so I'm not going to cut. So I'll probably make lots of mistakes, but that's all right because I am trying not to pose as the expert, because there's many people who tell me in order to create a podcast, in order to grow social media, you need to be the authority. And I disbelieve. I disagree, because I don't think that you should pose as an authority if you're not, because that's lying. And honest to God, I think that it's much more valuable if you pose yourself as a student. And that's exactly what I've been doing with this podcast. I wanted this for so long. I think I wanted to make social media content already since I've been 10. When I was 12, that was the first time that I stepped in the gym. And that's also when I first saw David Lade and all the other fitness influencers that you now see working for Gymshark. Ever since then, I already had the feeling that I really wanted to create content. It took me 10 years to actually do that. From 10 till 22 before I started to take action. That's how long I've been waiting on this idea. And I was waiting on this idea because I was waiting for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment is not going to come. And there's 10 years of experience that I miss because I was waiting for the perfect moment. And in these 10 years, eventually I ended up knowing or getting that the perfect moment is not going to come. There's not going to be a day where you wake up where you feel like today is the day. You're not going to open your front door and see all the things that you want, the things that you think you need in order to start, just showing up in front of your door. So I was kind of hoping for 10 years that when I stepped out of my door, that on my doormat were my microphones and a camera, and actually also a camera guy or a girl. That would be great. And every day I opened my door multiple times, but it didn't show up. And that was eventually enough for me to realize, okay, this is not going to be a handout type of thing. And then I came across this other quote from Chris Williamson, and he said, I have to think about what he said. What was that quote? Damn, this is uncomfortable. I know I'm live. What? The perfect moment? Well, regardless, I'm gonna forget the quote, but I don't want to leave you hanging. So eventually I was like, okay, this perfect moment is not gonna come. This perfect situation where I feel like I will have everything that I need is not gonna show up in front of my door. And I might as well take the moment and just make it happen with everything that I got at the moment. And that wasn't much because it started with my phone. And for some people, that's already a lot. But if you are a bit familiar in content creation or cinematography or cameras or whatever, that's not the level that I was aiming to. So every morning, I wanted to start making content and I had the things that I needed already in my hand. My phone. And it wasn't enough for me to start. The threshold wasn't broken. I thought I needed everything, the perfect camera and all the things that I just named in order to start. Maybe you're in a similar situation. Maybe you think oh yeah, I really have this thing that I want to do, but it's just not gonna happen because I'm waiting for the perfect time. Or not yet. I don't want to start just yet because the moment is not the right time. And the quote now comes to me, and he said that you overestimate what you can do in a month, but you underestimate what you can do in 10 years. What does he mean by that? Or at least, how do I imply that? I wanted to start so badly and I wanted to get all these things. But the main thing that you need is experience, and you get experience by just starting. I never thought that I would have the setup that I do right now. This is everything that I dreamed of. This is exactly what I wanted, and I have it now. But I have it because 2 years long, I spend every month getting my money right, making some extra money, put it in on the side, and slowly build up the gear that I was hoping to get. And no, it didn't show up. But now that I have all this gear, people tell me, "Oh yeah, you just have the perfect gear, and this is exactly what I need just to start." And I was that person. I was that kid that was like, fuck them. Let's nepotism or any of the other things. But the things don't just show up. And now I have them. And now I'm like, man, if I did this in 2 years, how far can I go in 10? If you spend 10 years doing what you absolutely love, you can build something so tremendous. And I hoped I did this all in a month. And every month I was like, oh man, fuck, I wish I hoped that I had all the gear, or I wish that I had all the gear that I wanted. And no month was that successful. No month came and was like, okay, now I have everything that I need, because it was a slow build up. Enough ramble about me wanting to start a podcast. I actually have some topics to do. The podcast that I wanted to post last week was just not good enough. And then I just blabbered on about how you need experience. And I got experience because I actually did it. Like, I did the podcast. And that would have been episode 13. I think 13. But now this is going to be episode 13 because that podcast wasn't good enough. And at first I was like, okay, this is really cool. I want to get everybody that I can get on the podcast. And that's a great way to start. But eventually I had to think about what was the brand that I wanted to build. And I want to build a brand around quality, about value that I can provide to you. And if something doesn't completely fit that picture, I don't want to associate myself with those things because it's been enough. I don't want to build a brand. I don't want to do this as a hobby anymore. And this is maybe this is going to be a little bit of a motivational video for you or podcast to listen to. But I don't want to do this as a hobby anymore. I've done this for a little bit now and I gained experience. I broke the threshold of starting. I broke the threshold of keeping going. Keep going. I kept going. And that was great. I checked those boxes off in my head. And now I'm like, now I need to really do something with this. Actually, as a little thing, I made my first 4,000 a month with just content. How crazy is that? I never thought that I would actually get there. We always hope for situations to appear. You wish you would do a $10,000 month. You wish you would do this. You wish everything would just show up into a perfect moment. But that won't happen if you don't start. That won't happen if you don't put in the work. And everybody on the other side has told you your whole life, just put in the work. All the Instagram and TikTok influencers and YouTube people that you see tell you, just put in the work. And as a recently divorced from my old self, I know very well how it feels. Just put in the work. You have all this. Fuck you. I had that feeling for years. And now I'm on the other side. And it's just like screaming, oh, being rich won't make you happy because you don't have any money. And then the rich people are like, oh, we're actually quite happy. And then normally people will scream, yeah, the rich are corrupt and blah, 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 blah. Everybody that tells you to work hard, it's easy to dismiss them because they have something that you don't have. And you want sympathy for your situation. That sympathy is not going to come. And it feels good to complain. It feels good to feel like, oh no, I didn't do my work today because I actually can't do my work today. I didn't make content because I don't have the gear. Like, that's not my fault. It's not my fault that I don't have the gear. So why do I have to take the blame if I didn't do what I actually wanted to do today? Because it's out of my control. And up to a certain degree, you will be right. You don't have the gear to do the content, or you don't have the things that are necessary for you to do the thing that you really want. But on the other side, you are responsible. It feels great. I've waited 10 years, as I said at the beginning. I waited 10 years in order to start because I was just blaming everything and everybody. I was too childish to take responsibility and authority over my own life. Like, my money always went to things and I was like, somebody stole my money at the end of the month. And I didn't. I just didn't take authority and I didn't take responsibility for my spending habits. And if you spend everything on bullshit, you're not going to have the money left over to do the content or to do the things that you actually want. And then you self-sabotage. And then eventually you're bathing, which is very comfortable. A bath is very comfortable. You're just bathing in your own excuses. And it's nice and it's warm and it's comfy because it feels good if you're not to blame. And it's very necessary for you to blame yourself. And now there are some people that have a very difficult situation. And I don't mean those people. And I hope that you are very aware that that's not what I intend to say. But I want you to take some authority. Yeah, I want you to take some authority over your life and some responsibility because you are in the position that you are, not only because of you, but mainly because of you. And maybe it's because you don't take action. And maybe it's because you blame other people. And maybe there's 101 other reasons. And I'm not telling you this because I want you to feel bad. I'm telling you this because I am in that process at the moment. And it has been uncomfortable, yes. But it has also been comfortable because I figured out that actually I'm not as weak as I think I am. And I'm not at the mercy of others as I think I am. Or like as much on the mercy of others as I think I am. It feels very good. It hurts. But on the other side, it also feels very good. So now I have all this gear and I bought it. It's mine. I didn't rent it. I didn't lease it. I bought it. It's all mine. And in order to get that, I had to trade off some other things. There are no solutions, only trade-offs. You can do this if you don't do this. A yes to something is a no to something else. And you have to be very careful what you say yes to. Because you have to think about what the no is going to. Where the no is going to. I'm rusty, but I'm getting in there. Thank you for your patience and that you keep listening. And I have some other things that I want to talk about. That was a little bit of a rant of mine, but I actually prepared my notes because this is my first solo podcast that I'm very excited for. I'm recording this on the new microphones. I also really worked very hard for that. And if you don't know me, if this is the first time that you hear this podcast, I'm a cleaner. So look at me with my fancy microphones and my fancy camera and my fancy lights and my fancy laptop and fancy fucking audio equipment. I'm a cleaner. Yeah? So I worked cleaning kitchens and filters for this sub 20 euros per hour for 2 years, for many, many, many mornings in order to get this. So yes, it's very fancy. And yes, I'm very happy with it. But I can be happy with it because it's mine. This ties into another thing that I wanted to talk to you about. I made a video, and yes, there's going to be a lesson in this, but it's going to take a little bit of a leap. So let me get a head start in, and then we'll eventually come to the value. I made a post, and it got 1.5 million views. As a starting content creator, that's all you want, right? Virality. I made a post, it got 1.5 million views, 70,000 likes, 25,000 reposts, many crazy statistics. I didn't feel a single bit of satisfaction. And do you know why? Because it was a remix that I made with a video from Chris Williamson. Very valuable video about the American businessman with the Mexican fisher. It was a very valuable post, but I just put a 3-second clip of me in front of a 50-second clip of Chris Williamson, posted that, and that went viral. None of the work that I did got me any satisfaction because it wasn't my work. You can't be proud of work you're not doing. And I had to learn that the hard way. So even though I figured out a format that fits and that works, I found a format. And that's eventually in content creation, that is what you want. So you post every day, a couple times per day, because you want to see what works. So you go very wide at the beginning to see what topics resonate with your audience. And then you niche down to the working formula. And that's how you grow. I found something that works and I have never done it since then. Because I'm really intentful of what I want to build here. I want to optimize for trust and not for virality. Thank you, Caleb Rolstone, for the very nice quote that you gave me. This is his work. This is his quote. I study the man deeply because he's the best personal brand coach, maker, person out there. Caleb Rolstone, check him out. I want to optimize for trust, not for I want to optimize for trust, not for virality. It's very important that you know this. It's very important that you also it's very important that you use this, even though you're not making content. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. You want to optimize for trust and not for virality. I went viral. I figured out a working formula, and that's all I thought I wanted, but it wasn't me. So the hard work that you put in, you do that because you think you're going to get satisfaction from it. That would be nice. That's why you work hard. If you then do something and you achieve your goal, why shouldn't you get the satisfaction? Well, I didn't get the satisfaction because it wasn't my work. And then you can say, yeah, but you figured out the formula. Yeah, definitely. Figuring out the formula was my work. But what do I want to do? Do I want to make Chris Williamson more famous? Definitely. I think he's one of the best voices in the industry at the moment. I think every young man and woman should listen to at least one episode of Modern Wisdom. 100%. And I don't see him as competition. I see him as an idol. And I actually bought VIP tickets to him in Edinburgh, the show, in this October. But I don't see it as a competitor. There's enough pie for everybody. You don't have to take a piece from somebody else. But I want to build my own thing. And you don't get satisfaction from your work you're not doing. If you give a presentation for school, if you're still in school or you remember school still, and somebody else made the presentation and you just stand there and you get an 8, you're going to be happy because you passed the exam or you have a passing grade, but you're not going to be happy because it's not your work. You didn't do anything in order to retrieve the satisfaction from achieving the goal. That's why I'm not a big fan of lying. And this is all Jordan Peterson. I've never formed an original thought myself. I'm just quote-porning here. But Jordan Peterson said, if you lie, you create an alternative personality. So if you go make friends and you're being a different persona than you because you want to be liked, if they end up liking you, who do they like? It's not you. You created a persona. So none of the criticism, there we go. That's very interesting. None of the compliments are coming towards you. And you're not going to feel the satisfaction because it's not you. You lied. And you know that. It's a character. You're playing. You're acting. None of the compliments are coming your way. And that's very safe because none of the criticisms come your way either. You can't take the criticism for somebody that you're just playing to be. Because it's not, and that's I think it's a suicidal strategy, but I think that's a strategy that many, many more people than we'd like to believe incorporate in their daily life. You don't want the critiques, so you pretend to be somebody else. You pretend like you didn't work on the presentation, because if you worked on the presentation and you failed, it's your fault. Many people are afraid to take a risk because they are too afraid of criticism. But what if I tell you that the criticism doesn't matter? It's about showing up as you. That's what the important thing in this world is. I want to see more of you, and I want to show more of me. And I'm doing that by just being me. That's a journey. You're not going to figure it out in a day. I've been on this journey for a long time. I've been to therapy for a long time. But I think we need more you in this world. There's already enough people that are playing personas. There's already enough people that are doing something that they don't believe in. They do it for clout. They do it for money. They do it because they think it gains them power or influence or social appeal. But that is not them. And all of them will eventually figure out that none of the compliments and none of the critiques, but also none of the compliments, they've earned. Well, that's a very deep lesson that I've learned from making one Instagram post that went viral. I think that also tells you something about how neurotic I am, because I really think about this stuff a lot. But that's also good, because that means that if you listen to my episodes, and please follow and subscribe, because I'm still growing, then this is going to be much, much better, because I read a lot, because I really want to give you the most value for your time. because I know that time is at a scarcity at the moment. At least we'd like to pretend. So I am subscribed to a couple newsletters, Chris Williamson, Shane Paris, many more, because I like that they are like thought leaders and they do something with me. And I actually came to a couple things that I want to talk to you about, because I want to like talk to you a little bit about the things that I found out over the past week. So one of the things that wasn't in the newsletter. No, I'm actually not gonna do that. Haha, cut you there. Thank you for being so on your toes. Um, yes, one thing that I got from Chris Williamson's newsletter is that he said, "I just want to come to a place where I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do." Don't we all? Then he said, "What happens when you get there? You worked your ass off to get there. You got your dream life out of doing things you didn't want to do. You have based your self-worth off of it. Overdoing hard things, pushing yourself through. So when this falls away, where will you get that from then? We all yearn for the feeling of completion, but we never allow ourselves to savor any taste of it because you keep moving the goalpost." I think that's a very nice piece of, I want to call it literature. You want to come to a place where you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. That means that you have to do a fuck ton of things that you don't want to do in order to get there. That's just how it works. Wrong. Or at least I disagree. Because look at what I'm doing. Well, do I want to be cleaner? No. Is that what's putting me in the position to do this? Yes. I actually love being a cleaner because I just listen to podcasts every day, all day, which is very soothing and nice during the cleaning. It's one of the pros. Man, support your cleaners and go into cleaning because first, it pays kind of okay. And secondly, you can do all kinds of other things and get knowledge. So the start of my podcasting career was because I was cleaning. But another quote that I want to tie that into this is, don't trade happiness for the thing that's supposed to get it. I'm going to say that again. Don't trade happiness for the thing that's supposed to get it. I'm going to say that again because I don't have the feeling that you really listened. Don't trade happiness for the thing that is supposed to get it. You want money because that's going to give you safety or happiness. So you give up your safety and happiness in order to get more money because the money is supposed to get it, right? Yeah, but you sometimes and often forget that you might already have the things that you're looking for. How do I go about this in daily life? I'm 23. I got a dog. I think that's one of the most financially irresponsible things that I can do at this age. I have a podcast. I'm at the start of my career. I'm still studying. And once I finish studying, I'll probably work my ass off for 80 hours a week. But what if I tell you that I don't want to trade happiness for the thing that's supposed to get it? Why would I work 80 hours a week? Because I want to be happy. So that I can be getting a dog. So that I can make videos all day because that's what I'm actually passionate about. I can research all day. Nobody is putting you in the position to not do that already. Actually, you, the camera. Because yes, I'm talking to you now and you're listening to me as if I'm talking to you, but I'm recording this just to a camera. I'm breaking the third wall over audio or video here. She's actually laying right below you. This is my first performance in front of a live audience. I don't want to trade happiness for the thing that's supposed to get it. I don't think I've been much happier in the past year than when I now have a dog. Yes, it's work. And yes, you have responsibilities. But it also really fits in my picture of what I want. Many people are working so hard for visible metrics, money, status, and they trade off hidden metrics, happiness, time with your wife, your girlfriend, your family, your boyfriend, your husband. If I were to give you an option, you are working right now and I want to give you a promotion. That means that you're going to go up in pay. But it also means that you have to commute 2 hours longer every day. Would you do it? Think about it. Maybe. Why do you want the money? You want the money because you want more quality time, or you want to, if you don't have people to spend quality time with, you want more toys and blah, 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 because you want to enjoy the toys. But what if you don't have time to enjoy the toys? You have the money, but you don't have the time. You have the family, but you don't have the time. So you want to provide for your family, but you're commuting much longer in order to provide for the family. If you're doing already okay, maybe you should reconsider your yes to the pay raise. If that's going to mean that you have to trade the thing that you actually want to get for the thing that is supposed to get it. You don't want a doctor that doesn't give you bad news. There are many weak people, soft people nowadays. We always pretend like things are great, and we always pretend like it's the best. And yes, of course, we also, there's war, which is very true. So those people don't always pretend. But that's a whole other topic. You don't want a doctor that never gives you bad news. You don't trust him. If you go to a doctor and says, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. Yeah, but I feel like something's wrong. No, it's fine. It's fine. You don't trust them. They're not honest. So this is exactly what I think is the best strategy for your life. Just sometimes give bad news. You ask people for their opinion, and sometimes they're going to be harsh with opinions. And those are not going to be the opinions you would like, but that's good, that's honest. Doesn't mean you have to listen to them. But you don't want a doctor that never gives bad news. You can't trust those people. If you have friends or family who are sometimes harsh for you, they probably do it with the best intent. Maybe that's a basis for trust. I'm the harshest critic of myself, but I also very, very, very much trust myself. Some of my best friends might say that I'm very critical to them, but that's only because I want to get the absolute best out of them. Yes, I'm still a very good friend, but I also am going to be utterly honest to them because I want them to get the most out of life. Maybe you should do this too. Your inner monologue becomes your outer reality. Too much self-criticism and you stop ambition. Too much arrogance and you miss things. The most powerful story in the world is the story you tell yourself. I've actually had a guest on the podcast about this topic. He was a mental coach. I don't want to say I believe in manifesting everything, but I also don't believe in self-criticizing too much. I get that that sounds contradictory to the story that I just told you, but I don't think you should be too negative about yourself because you can actually stop yourself dead in the tracks if you're too self-critical. And that's also what I had to learn. Like my first podcasts were absolutely terrible and I just put them out. And that's good because that overcame for me the hurdle of starting. Because perfectionism is also a form of procrastination. Think about it. I think I've said think about it already for 10 times. I'm so sorry. Don't think about it. That's fine. But I do think that perfectionism is a form of procrastination. The many people who want the things always optimize nothing because they don't put anything actually on the table. Delay gratification to the extreme is no gratification. Sometimes you just have to enjoy. Sometimes you just have to indulge. Sometimes you just have to accept. Sometimes you just have to start. Sometimes you just have to feel. Sometimes you just have to let go. Sometimes you just have to do things. Thinking about them, overthinking about them isn't going to make you any better. You have to analyze? Yes. You have to think about things? Yes. But then there's also a time where you have to say, my head, enough. Now we just do things. About your inner monologue, I do think I have a hard time with people who say you can manifest everything because I don't believe that that is true. As I said at the beginning, I can't manifest the perfect moment. I can't manifest everything on my doorstep. But in the other sense, the story that you tell yourself is very impactful. Because eventually I said to myself, I'm just going to do this. I don't care that I suck. I don't care that I don't have the things necessary to do it. I don't care that I'm far from ready to take action, but I'm just going to do this. And I'm just going to do this because I just decided to, that I can. And that's very powerful. And is that manifestation? Maybe. Do I have all the things now? Yeah. So by me just saying, I'm going to do this, doesn't mean that you're going to get it immediately, but just do things. And I also know some people who are very hard to themselves. And as I said before, you can stop ambition dead in the tracks if you're too self-critical. If you're good at something you don't like, imagine how good you would be at something you absolutely loved. I see too many people thinking, I see too many people sitting in a place where they're just content. It's numb. It's comfortably numb. You're numb, but you're comfortable. You're in a job that sucks. You hate the boss. But it isn't that bad. And the pay is actually quite okay. This is all Chris Williamson, by the way. I'm just paraphrasing. You would be better off if things sucked a little bit more, because then at least the threshold for action would be broken. Now, another example that he gave. If you were to go 1 mile, you would walk. If you had to go 2 miles, you would take the car. You will go faster 2 miles than you will go 1 mile. Sometimes things would be better if they were worse. Because you live in an apartment that has a little bit of mold, but it's not that bad, and the pace, the rent's kind of good. You will be better off if things were shittier. And if things are really shitty, great. Because now the threshold for action has been broken. And yeah, it's going to hurt a little bit more. But now the threshold for action has been broken. And then from then on, you can use it as fuel to build something. You can use that as fuel to take action into saying, okay, I'm going to do this thing that I always dreamed of. And that's where I wanted to go to. If you're good at something you don't like, the job, for instance, and you want to do something else, but you're not sure. You're like, oh no, I don't think I can be good at that. No, I don't think this is cut out for me. If you're already good at this thing that you don't like, imagine if you gave something that you absolutely love and can't stop thinking about your all. You will be a legend. You will go down in history, I believe. If you tell me, you go down in my head, and that's also part of history. So I think we should support each other, and I'm here for you. Oh yeah, trajectory matters more than starting pace. You don't, yeah, it's not about how fast you go. It's just about where you're going towards. It's like, I have so many people that I saw. Chris Griffin is one of them. Chris Griffin is a podcaster. I had some contact with him. Lovely guy. He's 24. He has a great podcast. It's called The Pocket Podcast. Definitely go check them out. I'm jealous as fuck. I'm jealous as fuck because he does everything that I can't do. He's making money. He's traveling. He's having all these crazy guests. He has the perfect setup. There's all kinds of crazy locations. And yeah, I don't go that fast. You have people, 30 days, social media, 90,000 followers. Kumar, I think, the accountant guy, he has 4 posts and 900,000 followers. 900,000. I'm doing 500 posts, 2 years posting every day, almost 2 years. And I have 1,600 followers. The starting pace is not the thing that matters, it's the trajectory. I know the things that I'm doing at the moment are very good for the trajectory that I'm on. I'm studying, I'm working, doing this, I'm making some money, and I'm refining my crafts, hitting it with the hammer every day. That's what the trajectory is going to mean for me. I might not go as fast, But that doesn't matter because somebody else's journey isn't yours. Somebody else's journey is just somebody else's journey. You should be the only comparison for you. I've struggled with this too. My episode 11, fuck, man. Because I compared it to Chris Williamson, episode 1100. He has 100 times more episodes. And so does Joe Rogan. He has 200 times as many episodes. More, even. And I was like, damn, I'm nowhere near the level that these guys are. Of course not, fucking dumbhead. Of course you're not there. And I really had to realize and sit with myself for a little bit. Of course you're not there. Because they have done this for 8 years. Rogan for 26 years. They've been doing this for so long. You shouldn't compare yourself to where they are. So I compared myself to their episode 11. And when I compared myself to their episode 11, I was already much further. And that filled me with energy and with fire and with passion because I know that I am on the right trajectory. Because if I do this right, I can get there faster than they have. Because they are my examples, my idols. They have paved the way for me, for people like me, for you. People have paid the way. People have Jesus. Fucking stuttering here. I have dry mouth because I'm not usually talking this long. But people have paved the way for us. You don't have to start from zero. There is already a way. And if you compare yourself to the people that are already so big, don't. You should either compare yourself to you or you should compare yourself to where they were at your moment. And that's not if somebody posts up for 30 days and 900,000 followers. That's not it. If that's the threshold, then you should compare yourself to you. Am I better than I was yesterday? That's the only fair competition that you can engage yourself in. One more, and then we finish up. Thank you. Let's do it. People want the outcome and not the effort that produces it. This is also Shane Paris. When the outcome arrives, what's left is... No, this is Chris Williamson, actually. People want the outcome, not the effort that produces it. When the outcome arrives, what's left is the effort. And that's what they complain about. They complain about how busy they are, but they don't want to be less busy if that means being less successful. Most people complain about what they work hardest to get. This is Shane Parrish. I don't want to hear from you that you're tired from pursuing your dream, of pursuing a goal of your own choosing, because you do this to yourself. I have empathy. Yes, I'm also tired. Now I already should be in bed and I'm doing this because I really love to do this. Should be walking the dog. She's looking at me. Come on, fucker. Stop it. I want to go on a walk. One of the fun trade-offs of having a dog is having no personal time and space. I don't want you to hear. I don't want to hear you complain about the things that you chose to do. If you're not content with them, change them. But many people want the outcome and not the effort that produces it. I don't fully like this phrase because I think there's more important things to get out of here. People want the outcome, not the effort that produces it. If we look at successful people, you want the outcome, but you never want to work as hard as they did. If you look at most controversial, if you look at Kanye West, in my opinion, he's a genius. A music genius. Nobody has done in music what he has done for hip-hop music. I think that he's completely crazy, which is what makes him as good as he is. You want the outcome. You look at him, you see all the money, you see all the scrutiny, but you see all the money, you see all the success, you see all the people attending him, or attending his concerts and singing along with all the songs, and you want that. But you don't want the rest of what's coming with it. You don't want bipolar. You don't want the criticism. You don't want the 30 years of track record at work. You just want the outcome. You look at the physique that you want. You want the physique. You're not training and eating and sleeping right. Yeah, but steroids. Yeah, but then, come on, man. Yes, there's definitely steroids and peptides involved. go check out Fit Peptides, code WIHP10 for 10% discount. They actually sponsor the podcast. It's work in human progress discount. Yes, they are. But you might also have to reflect on the fact that you're too lazy to do the work in order to get it. So either put in the work or rid yourself of the desire. And I want to stop it there. First solo episode, I think that's went much better than I thought it would. I really actually like this format. Thank you for listening. If you're here still, you're one of the 3 people that listen to the whole podcast. I really appreciate it. If you found it valuable, please let me know, because I would like to see if I'm on the right track with providing you with value. Subscribe if you haven't done. It means a lot. You'll be the 8th subscriber. And I wish you well. Thank you for listening. See you on the next one, because I will definitely be producing them.